Shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, the one who said, Elder Apostles, great millstone of all wow, and Shalom to the brothers and wax carrying truth, pushing his word to the four corners. It was Zark on AP News talking about this satellites, in space and functioning how, you've now got a lot more focus on the weaponizing of space. Really, within like the last 5 years, would be like the uptick. You know, Trump in his first term doing a rebirth of the Star Wars program, weaponizing space, and then China and Russia as well, doing it similarly. And now you've got with like the Ukraine war, with these conflicts, the significance of like satellites and space as well has come in. And then, of course, the final, the end of these things is what, ICBMs, the return of Yahweh Shai. And those are the things that they're going to be, they're going to be the main focus really of where these what these they're really looking to do with this technology, man, with you know building up weaponries in space. So it says hijack satellites and orbiting space weapons in the 21st century. Space is the new battlefield. It says Russia held its Victory Day parade this year. Hackers back in the Kremlin hijacked an orbiting satellite that provides television service to Ukraine. Instead of normal programming, Ukrainian viewers saw parade footage beamed in from Moscow, waves of tanks, soldiers, and weaponry. The message was meant to intimidate, and it was also an illustration. The 21st century war is waged not just on land, sea, and air, but also in cyberspace and the reaches of outer space. Disabling a satellite could deal a devastating blow without a single bullet, and it can be done by targeting the satellite's security software or disrupting its ability to send or receive signals from Earth. And yeah, that's another part of the how far it can get, is especially when it comes to hacking. And a lot of hacking is like phishing emails or compromising people that work in these installations. Because I know the Chinese, still doing those like femme fatales, where they'll send an agent in. She starts giving some geezer work in there that legendary dome, and then he's just leaking all the secrets, and then like phishing emails as well. People that work in these companies, where they'll just kind of email them like saying, "Oh, you get a free blah 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 whatever," and then in them activating that, then they've got access to those systems. And a lot of times, like people are not even aware that they're being like those things are taking place. Like those some of those was coming out was like 9 months, a year plus, that people had access to all these systems, and that I had access to, fucking hell, had access to all these systems, and then underneath that, then they were just able to do all forms of madness for a minute. So it says if you can impede a satellite's ability to communicate, you can cause a significant disruption, said Tom Pace, CEO of NetRise, a cybersecurity firm focused on protecting supply chains. He served in the Marines before working on cyber issues at the Department of Energy. Think about GPS, he said. Imagine if a population lost that and the confusion it would cause. And yeah, the thing with this as well is the movie that looked into it very well was Leave the World Behind, where it was functionally put as you break down all forms of like modern communication, where it's like internet, radio, TV, all these different ways that people can communicate got completely disrupted, And then a lot of these, because they showed it with the Teslas or just electric cars in general, where they were all used to cram up the the motorways, so people couldn't drive and get away. So people locked in the city, they're stuck in the city. People that were outside, they're outside. But then it was, you're kind of out there on your own, and it's not really clear, how or in what ways, people are going to be moving around and functioning. And then you have a breakdown, very rapid breakdown of like how people function, because they realize that, oh, you could, like, you go to call the cops, they no line, they gonna call the cops. People are like, can't post things on social media, can't, like, there's no easy way to communicate outside of just your immediate vicinity. Then all sorts of madness goes down. And that's the thing is now when where the chaos is gonna come, and you got time of Jacob's trouble. When Jacob's trouble, is very very likely you're just gonna have like communication breakdown. They have what was it, like the first purge, these different forms of times where it's just like, it's very easy to just have a switch flip, and then have chaos come in the midst. And these technologies now, and the thing is as well, a lot of people are thinking like, oh, how there's never going to be a time again where you don't have access to the internet or phone lines or whatever. There were men in Portugal getting power cuts, and people are like, oh, that don't happen. It's like people that come around. It's like on the West Coast. It's like you go there, it's like the power going down. Like everyone who kind of builds a house, they'll have like a water tower and a generator out back, because they know it's like the electricity can cut, and then you might need to, like, that might cut for like 5-6 hours, might cut for like half an hour, 2 hours, or it might cut for even longer. But then it's something you kind of need to just cover for. But then in the Western world, those are things that by and large it don't happen, other than you have situations with, I think in Texas, with the Texas power grid, where the situations where that's got fucked, or you have like hurricane floods, etc., like a madness like that. But then other than as they call it, a natural disaster, they're not thinking like, oh, these things can cut off. But then these are the things that when warfare is happening, those things get cut off. And then as well, it's in the midst of these things being cut off, then you can have what do you call it, further technologies. The government then can bring even more draconian legislation as well. This is what satellites are the short-term challenge. More than 12,000 operating satellites now orbit the planet, playing a critical role in not just broadcast communications, but also military operations. Navigation systems like GPS, intelligence gathering, and economic supply chains, they are also key to early launch detection efforts, which can warn of approaching missiles. That makes them a significant national security vulnerability and prime target for anyone looking to undermine an adversary's economy or military readiness, or to deliver a psychological blow like the hackers supporting Russia did when they hijacked television signals to Ukraine. Hackers typically look for the weakest link in the software or hardware that supports a satellite or controls its communications with Earth. The actual orbiting device may be secure, but if it's running on outdated software, it can be easily exploited. Yeah. These are all. That's the thing. It's like with with these things. It's as much as people in the modern age think these miracles Esau's got, those technologies, they're thinking like, oh yeah, it's functionally immortal, invincible. But all like they're all it's it's like they said in the Matrix, man, the second film. These things all run on systems, and these systems are built on systems. It's like, especially for this software, it's like it's all compiled on a bunch of things that have been built up over time, and then especially with like these technologies, that there's going to be vulnerabilities no matter what. Because skipping down a bit, it says national security officials say Russia is developing a nuclear space-based weapon designed to take out virtually every satellite in low Earth orbit at once. The weapon would combine a physical attack that would ripple outward, destroying more satellites, while a nuclear component is used to fry their electronics. So, the EMP aspect, which is there a movie with EMP? I can't remember. I know in the old Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare 2 game, they had it where Russia invaded the US. Then they blew up an EMP over, like, I think either the East Coast or maybe it was the West Coast. Actually, I can't remember which side that. I think it was the West Coast. They blew up an EMP, and then it just fried all the electronics. And then that's the thing with nuclear devices. It's like EMP will go off with it as well. So, and that's the thing. It's like frying those electronics, then it gets peak. And these are things that can contribute to further chaos, further carnage, and as well, a nuclear-based space weapon is because they're also preparing for Yahweh return, man. That's gonna be the big thing. All these nations are gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have to link up, man. They're gonna try and come against. Because why? Was it Revelation 18, man? These guys they still want, they're gonna be lamentating when America gets wiped off the face of the earth. Because of all the goodies, man. The lifestyle, the money, the sweet meats, the technologies, the clothes, these things. And that's what, it's you have these things developing. You have to wait and see as far as with that weapon, whether the degree to which they get it, and even then is how much of that is even going to be spoken about on the public stage. That's the thing. A lot of these things, especially when it comes to military secrets, espionage, intelligence, these things, you're not really hearing about it. You're not really hearing about it at all. Obadiah 1, verse 2, it says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" And yeah, this is a big part of why this system's done, man. It's Esau's he's been raised up, he's been given the rule, and he's had the run, man. He's had his little season, but then what? All the heathen, the so-called meant to be allies, these guys all have issues and contentions against him, even amongst Esau. The Esau on the bottom is upset with the Esau at the top. The Esau in Russia is upset with the Esau in America. Esau in France is upset with the Esau in the UK. So it's Satan's divided against himself, as well as the heathen divided against him, and then as well as his pride in what he's accomplished. He's thinking, who can bring me down to the ground? He's trying to establish himself as a power, and being able to get. Well, okay, I'll read it. It says, "Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, whence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh." And yeah, that being able to exalt himself, go into the heavens, build these skyscrapers and look down on people, go up into space, think like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to Mars, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. These things have become pride and pomp within him, but but in reality, you're still, PM, you're still playing on as one of the sons of the wicked, man. You're in the flesh, you're a man, not a power. And that's the thing, all that being able to go into the heavens, weaponize the heavens as well. You know, shoot ICBMs, blow places off the face of the earth. You know, that pump, it's not going to do you too much in the long run, man. It was to say Amos 9:2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And yeah, you know, climbing up into the heavens, you know, having these space stations, having these little places where, you know, the bunker has become the bunker's become the what do you call it? The key. When the key thing just picked up post like 2020, where you had a lot of people, and the thing is, you know, people are like, oh, why are you building up? But then it's okay, you know, your elite are doing that. People with actual money and capabilities to, you know, build these things up, and then have a big form of what do you call it? To build them up. Have a you know, money and finances and capabilities to, you know, secure and have those things as a, you know, as a security, as a hedge for themselves. They're doing it, which means then, you know what for what's going to come, like how's the average peon gonna be hit? And that's really why it's like, you know, these, even on the bottom level, they're proud as well. They're prideful. They've got pride in Esau's accomplishments, not knowing those things are given by the Most High. And then as well, in the end, it's not going to stand. These men are thinking in 100 years, you know, they're going to be on Mars and Jupiter and Saturn's, and then they're going to be what do you call it? You know, enduring for all time. Neptune, Poseidon. It says what? And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. Yeah, so, you know, you can climb up the mountains, go into the depths of the oceans, like what was it, the Titan submersible, I think it was called, where the guy was, you know, going down to see the Titanic, and then lo and behold, you got done out, man. You know, Most High's got you know, Leviathan down there to grab you up, man. And that's the thing, is all that pomp is only is a factor up until, oh no, nah, it's done. Funny as hell. Malachi 1:2, it says, I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh, yet you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. And yeah, that's the thing, is going to was it Romans 9, I believe it will, you know, detail you know, more about how, you know, I'll have mercy on who I have mercy, and who you will chasteneth. Which I think I've got mixed too, but it's like, I'll mercy on who I have mercy. As far as with, you know, Israel, you know, they go off, they fall short, but mercies, you know, given unto them. Meanwhile, with you know, Esau, it was, you know, the wicked was made for the day of evil. That's his job. He's not, you know, he's gonna do his wickedness and then get judged. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Yeah, he got desolated. And it says what? Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And, you know, we're in the midst of the desolate places now. Now they've had the capability to do it. And that's the thing, is Those desolate places being built up is the a big bedrock of why they have so much pride. They say, "Oh, you guys were off in Africa in mud huts. You didn't have no civilization. You didn't have no language. You couldn't read, write. You're swinging off trees. You're X, Y, Z." But what have we? We was the Romans. We built up the Colosseums. These temples to Artemis, to actual Artemis within the Greeks. Diana. Apollo. Yeah. Let's say Temple of Apollo. Um, then in the modern day, they've got the Empire State Buildings. They've got the Seattle Needle. They've got all these things that they think are the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever. These things that they've been able to build up, these cities, these locales. There's pomp, there's pride within it, and you as was spoken, you're going to return and build the desolate places. That must needs be. It says, "What thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build up, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh have indignation forever." So they will build up, I'll throw down, and that's why it's like it's a vanity to be prideful within those those things that you built up. Completely, obscenely prideful. In the long run, it's gonna be reduced to rubble, and you've got the examples to go by. It's like, okay, you shot these satellites into space. You can shoot nukes, you can blow things off the face. You got what's it called, a no-fly zone, where you can just go there and carpet bomb. You Predator drones, where the Nobel Prize winning Obese was joking about Predator droning, man, because he was one of those legendary warmongers, in his time. These things they've got pride in, but then what? It's being able to do those things. It's a trap. It's a snare, really, because it's the same thing that happened with Babylon, where it's like, where's the Hanging Gardens at? Persia, Greece, Rome, Italy's fucking economy don't exist, bro. Them men were the center of the world, bro. They were out conquesting, ruling every blood clot thing. Now what? But though those are lessons that people don't keep in mind, man. Revelation 12:7, it says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels." And yeah, this isn't when Satan was drop kicked out of heaven. It was like, it's like Lucifer. It's like, bruh, just like drop kicked out of heaven. It's like, no, and he felt, come on, man. But that's why you can't talk to a Christian about the Bible. They don't know what they're talking about. Now it's about Esau, Edom, and his his weaponry, his capabilities, military capabilities, trying to fight against Yahushua and the angels. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Yeah, and prevailed not. Got his ass with a double foot kick, boot, drop kick to the face, out of the heavens, man. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And yeah, that's where all that trying to contend, trying to set yourself up in the heavens, that's where it's going to end up. Cast out, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom.